What's up, everybody? It's Talkin Tunes, episode 4. This is the show where we sit around and we BS about music. I'm Tony,
I'm Kevin.
and this week we're gonna go out of our comfort zone a little bit. We're gonna talk about some rap.
Some hardcore gangster.
Hardly. We're talking about Lil Dicky's new album, Professional Rapper. His first album, right?
Yeah, his if you don't count his mixtape that came out in like 2013. This is his first like fully produced album that came out, and that came
Right.
out in July
2015.
31st. Yeah, July 31st, 2015. So a shade under 2 years old at this
Right.
point.
Gotcha. Before we get into that, why don't you tell me what you've been listening to this week?
Well, obviously a lot of Lil Dicky. Um, I haven't really changed it up much from last week. I had that long drive this past weekend, going to visit a friend in Akron, Ohio, which is like a 5.5 hour drive. I just like put my Spotify on like all songs and shuffle and just listen to like just a bunch of random songs because I didn't feel like messing around with the playlist while I was trying to drive. So I ended up going through like probably the majority of my music library at some point over the weekend.
Nice.
It was nice to just like because a lot of what I have on Spotify, right, is like stuff that initially I like found on my Discover playlist, and I like went through that. I'm like, oh, I like this, and this, and then I just totally forget about them, and then they came back again. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I like this song.
Right.
So it was nice to have that like rediscovering old things that you liked.
Yeah, I feel you.
What about you?
Well, I also had a long car trip, except I was with a buddy, so I had to share the radio a bit. And the particular person that I was with, and obviously you know who it is, uh, they are a fan of country, so got stuck listening to a lot of that on the way down to West Virginia. But I actually don't mind it that much. It was like old country, so it wasn't yet like my the country I hate is like the new stadium rock, like Luke Bryan bullshit. But listen to like a lot of like Rascal Flats, Little Big Town, like '90s, early 2000s stuff. So, which is what I
When
grew
was
up on.
when was Little Big Town a thing? Because I don't listen to country like at all, but I know Little Big Town was a thing.
Let me go to their
When
Wikipedia
were they a
page.
thing?
Uh, they were founded in 1998, and they're still active, technically. But basically like early to like I guess early to mid 2000s probably is like at least when I really knew them at all. Obviously, I don't really still listen to them, but
Yeah.
their first two albums were in the early 2000s, and that's what I remember. But it was good. It was a throwback. I was like, oh, this is like all the stuff that my parents listened to when I was younger. So
I think the only Rascal Flatts song I know is from the Cars 1 soundtrack. They did Life is a Highway, which I think is a cover of
it
somebody
is a
else.
cover. I actually didn't know
And it
that
was
for the longest time.
baller.
Dude, I loved that song. I saw Rascal Flats live um last year, and they're actually like really good. I didn't expect much going into it, but their singer has one of the craziest ranges I've ever heard. He's so good. Um, so yeah, it was good stuff. Um, once I was in the car by myself, though, definitely cranked up the metal, um, and listened to a lot of Jamie's Elsewhere actually on
Really?
the way. Yeah, I went through their album. They said a storm was coming, which is actually pretty much their only album that I'm really a huge fan of from them.
Yeah, which you and I disagree about because I really like Rebel Revive, but you said you don't.
I really don't, and maybe I should give it another listen. Because I sort of listened to it a couple times when it came out, decided I didn't like it, and I actually haven't listened to it in forever. And the only song I remember off it is The Illusionist at this point, and
Mm.
I kind of like that one, but the rest of the album just didn't do anything for me. But They Said a Storm Was Coming is I think is just very very good. So listen to a lot of that. But yeah, so that's what's going on in
Very musical weekend.
yes, it was a very musical weekend. That's I mean, what else is there to do in the car, especially when you're driving through like Kentucky?
Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Talk to the person you're driving with?
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous. Dude, socializing sucks.
Amen. Like you're joking, but I don't know.
I mean, I'm like half joking. Depends on the company.
Well, you had pretty decent company.
This is true. So, on that note, let's get right into it. It's Professional Rapper by Lil Dicky.
Yes. Lil
The
Dicky, aka LD, aka White Jesus,
aka stem cells.
aka the time traveler's wife.
Yes. Well, no, we'll talk about it later. We'll get there. All right. Do you want to start with the Meet the Birds interlude, the intro? I mean, is there anything to talk about? Do you want to talk about these interludes, or do you just want to
I
talk about
feel
the
like we could
song?
just all just like lump the interludes all together because it's for those of you who've never listened to this, the album is an hour and a half long. It's like 20 tracks, but there's four interludes technically.
Yes.
Three of them are like just recorded phone calls of him with his parents, which I think are pretty funny. And
Yes.
one of them is just like Hannibal Burris just talking about how Little Dicky's a terrible name.
Yes.
So the interlude was just him like on a phone call with his parents, I guess like after he moved out to LA or something. And it's just like I think like humor wise, this is like one of the only things that like made me laugh out loud, like legitimately when I listened to it the first time.
Yeah.
It's just funny to like listen to him like bullshit with his parents.
Uh huh. They're so ridiculous. I love the like, especially the first one. There's all the like, wait, no, we can't hear you. Wait, is that better? No, you have bad reception. Like it's like trying to have a conversation with my parents on the phone.
Exactly. Yeah, and I like the third one. He starts talking about like a bunch of things he needs to do, and his dad's like, "Oh, your mom can like fly out there and like help you out." And he's like, "I don't really think there's anything you guys can really do." And then for some reason they start talking about like him getting strippers at his shows or something. It's like maybe that's something you guys can do. It's like call the venues and see if I can get strippers like at the venues. And his dad's like, "Oh yeah, I think I could do that." He's like, "Don't be ridiculous. I'm not gonna have you call the strippers. I'm not gonna have you call the venues and ask if their son can have strippers at his rap show."
Yeah, the interludes are really good. My favorite though is the Hannibal Buress one.
Yeah, dude, Hannibal Buress is so funny.
Yeah.
I watched it's that Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg, Daddy's Home. He's in
Oh,
that. I
gotcha.
don't. I doubt you ever seen it because it was
Nope.
like
Didn't. I had no interest in it, but was it good?
I I didn't either, but I think it was like free on Amazon or something, and I
Yeah.
watched it, and it was actually like entertaining.
Okay.
And he's in that. And he's pretty funny in that.
Good to know. I'll have to check it out next time I need a movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like not something. It's not gonna win. It obviously it didn't win any awards, but I wouldn't call it a waste of time.
Okay, that's reassuring.
Oh, sidebar. Speaking of, last night I watched the movie Dirty Grandpa, the Zac Efron Robert De Niro movie.
Yeah.
It actually was pretty good, and it actually like made me laugh a bunch of times.
Really.
Yeah,
That's
also
another
free
one
on
that I was like,
Amazon.
this looks stupid. I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in the habit of like being less uptight about that kind of thing, where it's like I had no interest in it, or like I like all these people, but everybody's like, oh, it's gonna be a shit movie. Like, so I'm like, oh, I guess I won't see it then. Maybe like give something a chance. That one is actually pretty funny, and I would recommend it if you have
Okay.
some time to kill.
Also, we'll take that into consideration.
Anyway, back
Anywho,
to
back to this.
back on topic.
Yeah. Uh, Hannibal's rant about being sick of hearing everyone talk about money is one of my favorite parts of the album, like hands down.
Yeah. I like the beginning where he's like, Lil Dicky, like that's such a terrible name. It's like you got a grown men coming up to you calling you, "Hey, Lil Dicky." That's the worst rap name I ever heard. and I heard a guy called Hogman the Intruder. Actually, I made that up, but that's not the worst rap name I've ever heard.
Yeah. And the the stop having 35 people on stage. Who are these people? Are you traveling with these people or did you hire them locally? Did you pay for those travel for their travel? He's like, you can't do that at other jobs. You can't be an accountant like, hey, I'm about to do your taxes. Here's my 30 friends just standing around doing nothing while I do your taxes. Fuck out of here.
You can only have one chain, unless you're two chains, and I guess you can have two chains.
No more than that. It's a really the interludes are really funny, even though they're not music at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's also they're also just like a nice break because they're
Yeah.
all like fairly short,
Right.
like 40-second, minute long things.
Yeah.
The
Well, and
Hammer Burst one I
especially
think is a little bit longer, but
yeah, it is. But especially since the album's so long, they really help break it up because it's a long album.
yeah, it's an hour and a half. I don't know if I
Yeah.
said that before, but it's an hour and a half long.
Yeah, and it's all I mean, it's a good album, but it's really hard to sit through that much of an album. Like if like we always try to sit down and really focus on the album while we like go through all the songs so that we actually remember what we're talking about when we come to do the show. And it's hard to focus on one album for an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's true. And even I mean, it helps that I feel like this isn't one of the things where it's like, oh, I haven't listened to that in a while. Let me bring it back up. It's like I've been listening to this probably like once every other day since I like found out about Little Dicky, which is like earlier this year.
Yeah.
So for like a solid almost 2 months, I've been listening to this like you know every other day.
Yeah.
So, but even at that, there's like a bunch of songs that like you definitely gravitate towards the ones that you like, right? And
Yeah.
I definitely have my favorites.
Yeah, I have like 3 or 4 that I really like and the rest I don't really listen to that much even though they're still pretty good. Um
Yeah,
should we let's start getting into those.
yeah, the actual songs.
Yes. Here
All
we
right, so
go.
after the first interlude is Professional Rapper, which features Snoop Dogg.
I
What
love
is
this one.
at first I didn't really like it all that much, but in the context of the album, I think it's really good. Like it's a really good opener. Like aside from that first little interlude, because
Yeah.
it's this is like his first real album, and I think that him talking to Snoop and he's like, this is what I want to do with my rap career. I think that's like a really good opener to like people who may not know him, which is probably a lot of people.
Right. Like I think it's cool how he does the whole thing about like where he comes from and like where he grew up and everything
Yeah,
cuz
which is
it's
all
like
real.
yeah, exactly. Um it's like I feel like I actually like know the guy, you know? And I didn't have to
Right.
go out and like read up on his Wikipedia page. I got to just listen to that song. I'm like, okay, so he came from Philadelphia and he went to college and he decided he didn't want to do that. So he's like, I want to rap, and so he made it happen. Like that's cool.
Yeah, I actually pulled up his Wikipedia page. I feel like you're making a little bit fun of me accidentally,
Yeah,
but
you're pretty
I
much a
was
piece of shit.
pretty much. But I was looking up just to get like a little bit of some background on him,
Yeah.
and yeah, pretty much everything. He like grew up in you know a northern suburb of Philly, and like graduated for like a business degree, and decided he didn't want to, or it was like marketing or something. He decided he didn't want to do that, so he just like started making music so he could be like a writer and an actor. And he was like, I like this rapping thing, so I'm just gonna keep doing that. And then he like had a Kickstarter after one of his songs, "Ex Boyfriend," which I showed you like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
He like released that video, and it went like viral, getting like 1 million views in like a day.
Wow.
And then like once a week for like 5 months, he released a new song and music video. And then after that, he like launched a Kickstarter, and he's like, I'm out of money, but if you fund me, you'll like be funding the rest of my rap career. And he got like almost double his goal. And then he like signed to the label, and released this album and stuff, and he's like touring and all that kind of stuff now.
I see. Yeah, he. It seems like he took off really fast, and that explains why he had so many music videos. I was going through. I was like, holy crap! Everything, like every song he has a music video. It's insane.
Pretty much, yeah. And a lot of the older stuff that's not like on this album, but like other random YouTube ones that he released, those are like all music videos.
Right.
Like Ex Boyfriend and like White Guy.
Do you mean White Crime?
No, I think he has a song called like
Oh,
it's
okay.
like White Guy or just White. He just raps about how good it is to be white,
Oh,
pretty
okay.
much.
That sounds okay. Gotcha.
It's that one's not like one of my more favorite ones about like the YouTube, kind of like the YouTube ones, but it's still pretty good. I really like Ex Boyfriend though.
Yeah. What ex-boyfriend is good, but professional rapper. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about it.
I like the ending where it's like him and Snoop and Juanita just like talking.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing he does a lot with his songs. He's got like this really long like outros that he just kind of like rambles.
Yeah. I like when Snoop's like, "Why does everything you say sound so soft?"
Yeah, it's like I don't like being spoken to like that. Juanita, can bring some weed in here, please? Thank you.
Yes. It's good.
Wow, that's great looking weed. It's just so herb. That's a really good song. I think it's a really good uh, lead in. I
Good
think
good opener.
also, yeah, I think Who Knew also the next song after that also does a pretty good job of um, like showing that, like kind of building on that same idea of like I was like not really anything, but then I became something. But this is like just him, so I feel like it shows more of his talents,
Yeah.
and
He's
it's the first one where he really like goes lyrically. He like goes hard and like his like lyrical ability starts coming out.
yeah. Actually, I really like this one too. I really like the hook for it.
Yeah, that's probably like the part I like the most. I'm not like the biggest fan of this song just because I think there's other ones that are better.
Oh yeah, sure. But I just think this one in particular has a really solid hook because some of the others are like okay, like when it comes to like there are a lot of songs that like his I like the song, but I really don't. I'm not a fan of the hook. This one, the song's like okay, but the hook I think is really good. Like this one, I get stuck in my head all the time.
Yeah, that's also kind of like a common theme is a lot of his songs. For some of them, it's either like a good hook or the rest of it's good. But I mean, there's a couple where they both kind of fit together, but
Yeah,
this one it's not bad. It's just not my preferred.
I gotcha.
But, there's nothing wrong with it, really.
No, for sure. Um, all right. After Who Knew, I think I know how you feel about this one, but that brings us
Fucking
to Let Me
fucking love
Freak.
this song. Let Me Freak, and we'll bump in Let Me Freak for real though, which is technically a separate track, but it's basically the outro for Let Me Freak.
Yeah, but it's just as long as the actual song.
It is,
It's ridiculous.
yeah, but I think like the only reason he did that is so when he like performs the song like on the radio or something, he doesn't have to do that entire outro because it's like all auto tuned.
That's true, yeah.
Like there's YouTube videos of him doing it like on radio stations and stuff. I sent you a video of him like actually performing the song on stage, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, if you can't figure it out, the song "Let Me Freak" is all about him. It starts off with him like outside a bar, like about to go home, and he's like sad he didn't pick anybody up. But like as he's about to leave, he finds this girl, and he's like singing to her like let me freak with you. He's like, please bang me, basically. and like
Right.
she's like no, but eventually she's like okay, and it's like their story. It's weirdly romantic.
It
It's
is
the best. It's
very
the best
odd.
way to describe it
Yeah.
because it ends up like they start dating and they get married. Like the third verse is them in like 80 years or something.
Right. I love the second verse. Like the when they're getting together and he like tries to make a move on her and she
Yeah,
gets all mad
yeah
cuz she's writing an email to her boss and that whole inter the whole exchange between them on that is hilarious. Uh
yeah
she's like, "Yeah, will you help me write this?" And he's like, okay." And she's talking about how her two bosses are arguing and he says, "Oh, well, shouldn't your first boss talk to your other boss before talking to you? That makes sense." And then she's like, then she says, "But Jane isn't hands-on." Okay, well, I guess I just don't understand the dynamic then. I don't work with these people. She started crying. It's just so funny.
yeah. It's just because like that's something you can like all relate to because it's like I'm trying to help, but I don't know like any of the details, and then
Yeah.
it's like, well, why do you hate me? And it's like I literally don't
Well,
understand what you're talking about.
yeah. I think we've all been there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
It's so funny. And his pre-choruses are really solid too. The look I just turned off The Departed for a movie about a bee. It's,
yeah.
it's good.
The music video for this one is also pretty funny.
The music video is great, yeah.
It's just "Let Me Freak" though. It doesn't go through the whole outro, which I mean,
Yeah.
makes sense because "Let Me Freak" is the story part of it at least.
Yeah. Let Me Freak for Real, I actually don't like that much. I mean, it's funny. It's got a couple really good lines, but it's not. I don't know. Uh, I won't turn it on just by itself.
Yeah, it definitely has to go with "Let Me Freak." It doesn't really stand on its own as like a song,
Right.
but even at that, I like the outro. Anytime I listen to "Let Me Freak," like I put it on shuffle and that one comes on, I have to like go into the playlist and like move the outro next to it.
Really.
A, because it doesn't make sense on its own, really, and just because like they flow so well together, because they're supposed to be together.
Gotcha. That's fair. I don't. I usually just skip the outro actually.
Yeah, I mean I can understand why, because it saves you like 3 minutes.
4 minutes and 17 seconds, according to Spotify. Um.
If you want to be that specific.
Yeah. But to each their own.
All right, so the one after that is "White Crime," which is him talking about how other rappers always just like talking about shooting guns and like stabbing people, killing people, and he's like, I'm a criminal too, but in a different sense.
Yeah.
I think this is like one of the more comedic songs he has.
I think this one's hilarious.
Yeah, like in general, like he's a comedic rapper, right?
Yeah.
But
Usually, yeah.
I feel like the majority of his songs aren't necessarily funny after a while. Just like maybe it's just me because I'm not the kind of person who can like watch a stand-up special over and over again and laugh every time.
Right.
Very rarely will that happen, like with Bo Burnham or something.
Yeah.
Um, but like this one actually like is pretty funny, like almost every time.
Yes. Yeah, like he's talking about walking into the movies with his pockets full of candy and taking shampoo from the hotel.
Yeah, and like if he's on like a train, the quiet train, you're not supposed to talk. He'll like have a conversation. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm the man."
Right. I also love the when the song starts when he's like, "I see you looking at me cynical. Stop looking at me." And
Yeah,
they have the shout outs in the background. I ain't fucking with your smart hoe. It's condescending.
yeah. That's I think like the funniest part of the song is just the random, like him talking to himself basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because he does that in the second verse too. Doing business at the airport. I travel a lot for work.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this one is one of the funny ones that can get me every time. But I think the best part of Little Dicky is even if it's not funny every time, it's still a good song every time, like musically,
Hmm.
which I think really makes him like a step above. Because like Bo Burnham, for example, another like comedy musician,
Hmm.
which I would definitely put him as like a comedy musician, where Lil Dicky may be like a musician who's comedic, if
Yeah,
that makes any sense.
I get what
Where
you're saying.
like Bo Burnham, if his songs aren't like funny, they're not like that good musically, really. They all kind of, you know, sound the same.
Really, I would disagree, but that's just me.
No, they all have like the same general like beat to them. If you like really listen to like how they're structured musically,
Yeah, maybe.
but he's also fucking
I
funny.
part
So
well, I we're not talking about Bo Burnham, so I we'll save it for another day. But
I
I
know I'm
think
just like comparing the two.
no, I get exactly. I get the point you're trying to make. Um, but yeah, I would agree. I think he generally going back to Little Dicky. I think it's like he has a lot of funny lines in his songs, but he's not necessarily like he's not trying to make you laugh necessarily.
Right, and it works out that like they are funny, but they're just good songs at the core.
Right. All right.
But
Oh,
you know, I was just gonna like segue a little bit more smoothly.
I could go for it.
Even if he's not necessarily comedic, they're still good, right? Like
Hmm.
Molly isn't funny at all. Like he even
No.
says, it's like this is the softest thing I've ever done, but it's about something that's pretty important to me, and it's called Molly because like that was his ex girlfriend's name.
Yeah, I assume.
Like, do you know the story about the song? Oh, he
Um,
talks about it in the song, but
right. How he misses. Well, it says he misses his ex girlfriend according to Lyrics Genius or Genius.com.
yeah, he did an AMA on Reddit and like was asked to like elaborate a little bit more on it. And it's basically like he had his girlfriend Molly before he became a rapper, and then like when he started getting big when he was rapping, like he had to kind of choose between her and like being a rapper, and like even though he loved her, um, he picked being a rapper because like that was his dream, and like he couldn't let her stand in the way of that.
Hmm.
And I think there's a line that he says like to close it out, which I don't remember like exactly what he says, but something along the lines of, "It wasn't hard making the decision; it was hard living with the outcome of the decision," which I think really like is the message of the song. Is like I miss you, and I know that if I just gave it all up, I could get you back, but I can't do that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I think that might be my favorite song on the album, just because it's so. This has got like the most feels to it, right?
Yeah. I love this one. It gets me every time. It tugs on the heartstrings a little bit.
It does. Plus, Brendan Urie,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know how
believe
to say
that's
his
how you
name.
pronounce it.
The singer for Panic at the Disco does the chorus part of it, and there's something about like the beat and like the tone of the beat and his voice that just like match so perfectly that he is like it was like made to have him be part of the song. It just like
Yeah.
fits so well together.
Well, he's got a really good voice anyway. Like, uh, I'm not sure. Well, let me pull up their Wikipedia really quick because I'm not sure how long he's been the vocalist for Panic at the Disco. Um. Oh, they don't have a timeline on here. Uh, I just want to see current members. Uh, he's been around pretty much the whole time. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because
Either
for
way,
some reason I always get Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy mixed up.
yeah, they have very similar vocals is I think why. But so either way, he has like such a nice voice and you're right, it fits in so well.
Yeah, because it's a love song, but
Hmm.
like a rap. It's a love rap.
I love rap.
I think it's my favorite music, both musically. It's my favorite musically. I was gonna say musically and lyrically, but I think there's some different ones that are a little better lyrically.
I know my favorite lyrically, but musically, I do think this is my favorite.
Right.
Yeah, I love it a lot. It's really good. It's definitely up there on my list of favorites for the album.
Yeah, I if not number one, it'd be at least it's at least top three,
Yeah, I can see that.
which is saying something on a 20 song album.
Yeah, you'd have a top 10 and that would be solid.
Right, and you're still like that's just 50% of the album.
I know it's insane. Um, Taking a total change in tone. The next song is "Bruh," which
Yeah.
I think is lyrically the best on the album.
All right. This is when he like goes full Eminem and just like throws down his lyricism and like his ability to like put stuff together.
Yeah,
Like that,
I
I think that's the best way to describe it. Is it's like Little Dicky doing Eminem.
yeah. Well,
It's
it's like
his
a
rap
brag
god.
song. Yes, it's a bragging song. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I think
it's
I think I really like it because I actually like one of the few rappers that I actually enjoy is Eminem, which is just like proving my whiteness even more. But like it is very similar to that. You're right. It's very like uh I trying to think of a word for it. It's not the like slow like mumble stuff. It's like very uh it's very like crisp if that makes sense.
yeah. I think crisp is the best way to describe it because it's like short and fast, but like very articulated.
Hmm.
It's like the opposite of designer, who is just a trash can.
Yes.
But
I love
that's
this one.
yeah. It's
Um
how are you doing with trying to learn all the words though?
I'm getting there. I don't have it memorized. I have sections memorized. I got the "So Come Fuck With Me." I got a couple hundred bitches doing drugs with me. That whole section up into like I never hit the scene when I do 'em high and wasted. Actually, oh man, I have a big chunk of it learned if you consider that. Um, I got okay. I got the "So Come Fuck With Me" through um like about where it's saying that the shit I'm making's always tight. It's like a yoga store. Somewhere around there, I fall apart, and I also have figured out the I'm too nice like a motherfucker that fell in love with a boo twice as in double as fuckable as he was and dude tries to be subtle and get her cuddle or fuck and get a cuddle inventing the troubles and getting her truffles and ending up a fuddle when she don't fuck him and someone tell him listen you buggin' she never fucking a pedestrian muggle like you so wild the trouble but he rebuttal with I think I just love her so I would shudder at the thought of being anything other than nice. I have that. I've had I've
Clearly,
I've had that in my head all day. Except these lyrics are different than the other ones I saw. So that's my my excuse there. But it's I do have that for a while. And the end is crazy too. Like the whole thing is just so solid. I love like every line is so clever. I love it.
yeah. It's just words after words after words.
Yeah. And on top of like a really good beat, like the drum thing they got going on the whole time is awesome.
Yeah, it's like a different kind of beat from the rest of the album because if it's like electronic, it's got like a lot of bass and stuff. This is like you could do this with like a drum line,
Yeah,
which I think
it's
would be
very
pretty
it's got a
dope.
very marchy feel to it.
It'd be pretty dope if you did this with like an actual drum line.
Yeah, except that you almost certainly couldn't get a drum line to do it because you needed to go through a school. There's no way you could have that happen.
I don't know. I have some connections.
Maybe it'd be real awesome if you could write something for it. They it uh it is nice because like everything else is very I don't say heavy, but it's got that sort of typical like you know uh typical slow beat, and this one's just such a nice little. It's very light. I would describe it as tasty.
It's tasty and crisp, like a
It
red
is
delicious apple.
exactly.
So that's what I'm pulling away from that conversation is, bruh is a red delicious apple.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm going.
I think that's the only way you can really describe it.
Yeah,
All right, and then another like total change from that is Save That Money,
yeah,
which I think has the catchiest beat.
yeah.
Like this is the one that I have stuck in my head all the time.
I can see that.
It's Lil Dicky, Fetty Wap, and Rich Homie Quan. Well, I have no idea who Rich Homie Quan is, but his verse is pretty decent.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I love Fetty Wap.
Yeah, I don't really know Fetty Wap that much, but his part in the song is pretty good. He does the
It is the
chorus,
hook.
or, yeah, the hook chord. Yeah,
There's a difference, but I don't know how to explain what the difference is.
yeah. I
Um,
don't exactly know the difference either.
yeah. Either way, I just love Fetty Wap's voice. I don't know what it is. We gonna save that money.
Yeah, I'd be a little careful with everything he says, but
Oh, well, I'm not gonna. I'm going through the whole thing. I don't want to. Don't want to get us in trouble. But I like the way he talks. I don't know. He has a very unique voice, and I really enjoy listening to it. I don't know why.
yeah. This one also has a baller music video.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, there. Okay, so the title of the song is "Save That Money," right?
Yeah.
So they made a music video and like a little documentary with them shooting the music video where they tried to do everything without spending any money. Like, and then the video they're like go to mansions. They like walked around LA or something and just like rang doorbells and like buzzed in at gates and like asked people if they could like film at their mansion for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's also like they went into like McLaren dealerships, be like, "Can we just like borrow this for like 10 minutes?" And he like crashed like a T-Pain like rap video shoot so they could have like shots of him just like with a bunch of other people.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, and they like he like visited. There's also like Fetty Wap and Richard McQuan are there too. Like they're in the music video, and like to get Fetty Wap's part recorded, he just like showed up at one of his shows and he's like, "Can you just have like 5 minutes where we just record you?" And he's like, "I guess." And he like flew down using like vouchers and stuff to like Richard McQuan's house, and they like recorded it in front of his house. And there's like an ice cream truck or something that happened to roll by, and they just like put that in the video because the dude was like, "Yeah, you can do that for free, I guess."
That's insane. Like you got to think like how expensive music videos normally are. That's crazy that they film the entire thing without spending a dime.
Oh yeah, and there's like yachts and boats and like nice cars and stuff.
Yeah.
Like yachts and boats are two different things, but there's like yachts and mansions and like nice cars and you know, all that kind of stuff. And it's
Right.
really interesting. Like the documentary is like 20 minutes on its own,
Wow.
and it's pretty good. I'd recommend watching it probably after you watch the music video if you're gonna do it, because the music video is like 8 minutes long.
Of course it is.
Because it's got part of like the documentary in it too.
Okay. Gotcha. I'll definitely watch that. But also, can we just take a second to acknowledge how many features he has in this album? Like
Yeah, I
it's
was actually
crazy.
yeah I was just looking at it, and it's like it's like real rappers like Snoop and Brendan Urie, who's not a rapper, but I'm sure he's busy.
Yeah.
Fetty Wap, T Pain, his own brain.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's like to have I mean maybe I don't know enough about the scene, but like the fact that he has one, two, I'm gonna count Save That Money as two, three, four, five, six, six. Um. Oh, and Hannibal. So seven people like 7 big people featured on his album, on his first album. That seems crazy.
Yeah, I remember. I don't think I like read through his AMA. There was like a video on YouTube where it's him talking about his AMA basically,
Mhm.
and I think there was like a question somebody asked was like, "How did you get Snoop to do a song?" He's like, "I just kind of showed up with him. I just kind of like showed up to him with it," and he's like, "Yeah, that's good. I'll do it."
Dang, that's crazy.
Snoop also doesn't give a fuck. Did you, um, by chance, watch any of the NHL All Star Weekend?
No.
All right, he like DJ'd for it at the beginning, and like this is on like national television for. It wasn't the games, but the day before when they do the skills competition, he like DJ'd the beginning of it, and he played an uncensored version of the next episode, where it's like f bombs all over the place, and like it's like
Yeah.
him and Dr. Dre, doing all that stuff. And his response after like, because they like had to say on TV like, we're very sorry for any language you may have heard. His like apology statement was just like Instagram post the next day of like him like DJing with it's like an emoji. It's like my bad. It's great,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Snoop doesn't give a fuck, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I like Snoop a lot.
Back to little Dicky.
Back to Little Dicky.
All right, so
Um
after save that money is oh well. What do you think of oh well?
um I'm not a huge fan of the song, but also it speaks to me on a personal level.
What does that mean?
Like uh just the like um uh, I'm trying to think of like a good way to word this. So it's like, oh, I want to care. I really want to like be involved with the world around me and make a difference and you know
Oh
pay
well.
attention to everything. And it's like, but also that's a lot of effort. So
Yeah, I hear you. This one kind of falls into the same category as Who Knew to me.
yeah,
They're both just kind of like there.
yeah. That's the thing. Like musically, I don't actually enjoy it that much. I don't think it's that catchy, but I think I think the theme of the song is hilarious or too real. I'm not sure. Depends on my level of existential crisis at the time.
It's just me IRL.
It kind of is.
Yeah, maybe for you, but me IRL is personality. The next song, which
Yes.
is the first Lil
Really,
Dicky song I heard
really
because
quick before
Mike sent it to me.
we get on that, I do want to just say like the reason "Oh Well" speaks to me so much, I think, is because I have a huge procrastination problem.
You don't need to justify yourself to me. I mean, maybe to the people out there listening, but I understand what you're like.
Okay, I know
I
you
understand
do.
what a
I'm just
lazy
saying.
sack of absolute garbage you are.
Uh, yeah.
Now you're gonna let
All
me
right. So
segue?
so personality. Whoo. Is it hot in here?
No, it's just you.
Oh,
All right,
nice.
personality. This is the first song, Little Dicky song that I heard because Mike sent it to me. Our mutual friend Mike sent this to me, and this is literally me in musical format. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what I wish I could be in musical format.
Yes.
Because the whole thing is like, if you look at a picture of Lil Dicky, he's not like a super attractive dude.
No.
And that's like the whole point of it is like, I'm not a super active dude, a super hot dude. I've never been a super hot dude, but girls like me for my personality. Which
I'm real nice. Yeah.
yeah. He's not a stud. He's a boyfriend. He loves love and
Right.
he cuddles for enjoyment.
Yeah, I love this one. It's so good.
Yeah, and it's got T Pain on it, who, you know, obviously T Pain like auto-tunes everything he's ever done, but it's pretty good. Like the T Pain chorus hook, whatever you want to call it, his part of that is really good too, and also his like part of the rambling outro.
Yeah, the outro to this song is so funny.
Yeah. This like when the first time I listened to that literally made me laugh for like 15 to 30 seconds.
Right. It is definitely more like us. Like I know for a fact I cannot go out to a bar and just pick up girls.
Right. And that's, the whole point of it. Is
Right.
like, I,
Probably
I,
got to
I
keep.
love that one.
Yeah. Um, we got to keep it moving because we're already at 45 minutes. So, um, next song is "Pillow Talkin',"
Featuring Brain.
featuring Lil Dicky's own brain.
Yes. Who has the hardest verse on the album?
Oh yeah.
That's what he says anyway.
Oh, I didn't see that.
In the like rambling outro of Truman, the last song, he's like, "Shout out to my brain." Probably has the most difficult verse on the album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but pillow talking is him talking to this girl that he just had sex with. Pillow talking, and he's like, they find out that like they're totally not compatible on like an intellectual level,
Uh huh.
and like the process of him going through that is just hilarious because it takes a sudden right turn when he starts talking about aliens.
Yeah. It's it's so great because it like just the way the conversation transitions. It actually sounds like a Key and Peele sketch.
That's a good point. If you think about it as a Key and Peele sketch, it makes sense as a Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah, and just like all like this girl in the song, she actually doesn't really say anything like super ridiculous. Like at least before it takes that right turn. And it's like
Right.
she's just like having a conversation with him, but Lil Dicky goes off on his tangent about like what if aliens show up,
Yeah, it's
and
like,
then
you ever talk
it's
to your brother in the army about what happens if aliens would show up? And she's like, no.
yeah, and then that and from then on it's out
Yeah, it
there
just, it just slowly devolves to them arguing,
arguing about religion and
being a vegetarian,
dinosaurs and being a vegetarian,
and not knowing about Pangea.
not knowing about Pangea. Brain, leave it. Mm,
Also, I
yeah,
love the voice he gives his brain.
the brain is awesome.
Yeah, and like in this part, because it is a conversation of like him talking to a girl. I think the only like minus I would give is it's sometimes a little difficult to like figure out whether if it's him or the girl talking because he doesn't like change his voice up that much.
No,
So like the first couple times I listened to it, it's hard to figure out like who's actually talking. But after like a listen to or a listen through, you get it pretty much.
yeah, I definitely have the same problem, but usually you can tell based on like what they're saying once you know what they're saying.
Yeah, but like on a first listen through, it's not necessarily always clear.
Right.
For as long as it is, I think it's really good.
It's a solid 10 minutes.
It's 10
Well,
minutes and
almost
it's
11.
slow.
Right.
Like the beat to it is really slow,
Yeah.
so it feels longer than 10 minutes. But give it a shot.
Yeah. It's good.
Do it.
Do it. All right. Then oh, that's an interlude, so that brings us to classic male pregame.
And this is one that like for the longest time I was like I don't like it, but then it's just like randomly came in my head one day. It's like if it's stuck in my head, it's got to have something, right? So I listened to it again, and it's better than I thought initially.
Um, I really don't like it. Easily my least favorite on the album. I
Really?
just yeah. There's sort of nothing about it that makes me. It's gonna sound like real shitty, like I'm being way too harsh on it, but it doesn't really have any redeeming qualities for me. Like, it's not like, oh, the hook's good at least, or like, oh, I really like the verses, but the hook's not that great. I just don't like any of it, which is fine. I mean, it's whatever, but I don't think it's that good.
Yeah, I'll agree with you that like the hook chorus, like the high pitch. I don't know who that is. It doesn't sound like him. It sounds like a female.
It's Nikisha Michelle,
No, it doesn't say that on Spotify.
according to Genius.com.
Her part isn't that good, but I think him just like talking to his friends is it's funny.
Yeah, I mean it has some like all his songs, it has some really good lines. I just don't like the beat or the really anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see where you're coming from. Of the songs, I would say once the humor falls away, this is probably the least musical, but I think it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
But to each their own.
right. I this one I would not put on deliberately. If it comes up in shuffle, I won't necessarily like turn it off, but I'm not. I don't know. It's just meh.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, if you want to be wrong,
Yeah. I mean, whatever. It's just... And then Talkin Tunes broke up.
yeah. After 4 good long episodes.
Yeah. 3 of which haven't been uploaded yet.
That's
Spoilers.
yeah. To date the video,
Oh
because of
God.
some Adobe issues, we haven't been able to upload 2 or 3, but this is 4.
Combination of Adobe issues and personal issues. Like I'm not gonna pretend I'm completely not to blame for this, but
Well, I mean, it's not my fault. I don't edit this shit, so
I mean that's fair. It'll
mostly
it'll
because I
be
don't know
up
how I'm too
eventually.
lazy.
True.
But yes,
Um.
for those of you who get to this point and for some reason are like, "Where was 2 and 3?" That's why.
Yeah. So moving on. Uh, the antagonist. What do you
This
think?
one, this one, and the antagonist too are probably the ones that like I just think about the least.
Yeah.
They're just kind of towards the end, and I think they suffer from being at the end of the album, where they're like, "Oh my god, how long is this thing?" And it's just like they're just there to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Except I was looking at the lyrics. Um, and actually think it's kind of a cool song because it's all about how like everyone like I don't want to be seen as like a joke of a rapper. I want to. It's like what I like rapping about is like. Uh, Let me see if I can find the actual thing. Um, oh, you the funny kid that's where your car go, and then he's saying how like no one likes piss Lil Dicky, but he's like this is what I really like to do. All my favorite rap isn't amusing. So yeah, he's like this is the stuff that I really enjoy. And I think that's kind of cool. And plus, it's got some really good lines.
Like what? Throwing out there to the people.
Um, let's see. Shit.
Well, you really
I
dropped
was
the ball on
just
that one.
you asked as soon as I scrolled away from the one I wanted to say. Um,
Way to go.
I know. I'm just uh, Lil Dicky spit that Pixar because he's just so above everyone else.
God, that really is a tremendous line.
Shut up.
Thank you.
Go. You know what?
What?
I don't have anything to say. I'm just forget it.
I didn't think so. All right, so I think we can both agree that they're just kind of there.
They're fine. They're fine. We gotta wrap
We
this
can
up.
skip over
So
them though.
okay,
All right,
we're
so
down to the last 2 songs.
yeah, uh,
Oh man,
there's work.
paid for that.
Currency pay for that. Which I watched a YouTube video of him performing this song live, and he said the only reason he called it what it is because he's always wanted a song where there's like a title, but the stuff in parentheses is what you like actually know it for, and that's the only reason he called it that.
Really,
Which I think is just a funny story.
that's hilarious. What do you think of this one?
I think it's a lot like Save That Money, where it's got like a little bit more of like a techno-ish beat.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think it's as good as Save That Money, but it gets stuck in my head every now and then.
Yeah, and it's got a good hook, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the stronger hooks.
Yeah, actually personally like this one a lot.
Yeah, and again, it like expands on his story of like how he didn't like doing what he was doing, so he changed it, and now like he can't believe this is his job.
Yeah, like I'm getting paid to basically just do whatever I want.
Yeah, like I'm getting paid to hang out in the club, like literally just hang out, like not even do anything.
Right. It's good stuff. Uh, Last song,
Yes, Truman, about about the Truman Show, sort of.
sort of.
Have you ever seen the Truman Show?
I have not seen it, but I know the whole concept.
Okay, because he references at one point like the the Truman. I guess we should explain for everybody who listening who has never seen the movie The Truman Show. First of all, watch it. It's a pretty good movie. But it's about Jim Carrey is a dude named Truman whose like life is set up. Looks like a TV show. People just watch his life, and he like doesn't understand that he's in a TV show. And like the ending of it, spoilers, for those of you who haven't seen the Truman Show, it's like the movie came out in the '90s. He figures it out that he's like on a TV show, and like he sails off like on a boat to like try to escape from wherever he's at. And he ends up like hitting this fake wall, which is because it's like a TV set. He ends up hitting the wall, and little Dickie's like, I think that's the point where I'm at in my life, like Truman hitting that wall and like trying to figure out what's on the other side, which I think is like a really like good metaphor for what he was at, because like he was just going through life, you know, kind of happy at some points, but then he realized he really wasn't. He had to get a change of pace, and he was like just going out there trying to figure out what there was, and all of a sudden he hits this wall and realizes there's a whole different thing on the other side, which is his rap career, and it's really him. This is him walking through the door of the fake movie set, like out into the real world, and what he really wants to do. So I just think like the whole idea of it is a really good like metaphor for what he's trying to do.
Yeah. you
Solid input.
you you pretty much took I honestly I listened to the song and I think it's partially because I really haven't uh watched the Truman Show, but I didn't pick up on all of that. Um
Yeah. Also
like I
the
knew it was about that. I caught the couple references to it, but I didn't get all that.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you didn't understand the last line of it either.
The very, very last line.
Uh, yeah,
And in case I don't see you, good
good
afternoon,
afternoon,
good
good
evening, and
evening.
good night.
Yeah, that's something Truman says in the movie The Truman Show. Anytime he's
Gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
he like leaves his neighbors, he's like, oh, you're like, good morning. He's like, in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Which playing along with the whole thing of like him being a Truman, it really plays up that whole idea.
Right. It's actually insanely interesting. I can't believe that. Well, no, I can believe I didn't miss it because
You've never seen the
like I
movie.
said, never seen the movie. But
Yeah, it might be on
that's really
Netflix.
clever. I would bet it's not.
I know I did watch it on Netflix like a year and a half ago. I doubt it's still on there, but it might be.
I'll check. I'll give it a watch.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's one of Jim Carrey's better roles.
Yeah. Not not that that's saying much.
You don't like Jim Carrey?
He's very hit or miss for me.
All right, we're gonna have to have a conversation once this recording stops.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
no.
I think
You
it's about time. Anyways.
All right. Yeah, yeah, no, it's we're right at the end and we just finished getting through the album. I'm amazed we got through 20 tracks that quick or in an hour. I
Yeah.
think that went I expected us to go way long this episode, so
Yeah. Well, I think with last week we not that if anybody's heard it yet, but I was talking about Children of Nova and like going through taking like over an hour with 6 songs. You know, like I said, it's still a learning process, but we're trying to make this one a little bit shorter.
Yeah, we just want to keep it to about an hour, and it's so hard to time. But we did a decent job this week, so here we go.
High five.
High five.
I didn't actually have five, so now you look
I mean,
foolish.
I clapped, but we don't have video on this, dude.
No, maybe you don't. I'm actually recording myself talking, and I'm putting it up on a separate YouTube channel and getting just thousands and thousands of views.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so get on my level with it.
I should have known your face is what we needed to really make this pop off.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means you have a nice face.
I don't like where you're coming from.
All right. Before Kevin kills me, we're gonna wrap this up. Really quick. Next week,
I
shall
think
we?
next week I think it's your choice because I picked if we're sticking to the same idea of just going through an album. You pick Children of Nova, I picked this one, so theoretically it's your turn to pick next.
I kind of like the way that's working out so far. I think it's nice that we get to get sort of different inputs, and I have one I really want to talk about next week.
Lay it on me.
All right. I'm in the mood to have things get really heavy again, because as much as I love Lil Dicky, um, you know, my true love is anything that involves a lot of screaming. So I think we should do "They Said a Storm Was Coming" by Jamie's Elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think that'd be good for me because I feel like that's one I've never really sat down and listened to.
Right, and specifically, so listen to "They Said a Storm Was Coming," and also listen to their 2012 album "Reimagined."
I remember you
It's
telling me about this because it's like them taking that and just like remixing it,
yes, and
sort of.
it's well, it's not remixing necessarily. It
It's
is
reimagining.
rewriting. Yeah, right. And listen to that because they take a whole bunch of the songs on there and do like acoustic cuts of them, and they give them a completely different feel. And pay attention to like the names of the tracks on each one, and you can tell which one, like which song from "They Said a Storm Was Coming" it's supposed to parallel, and it's awesome. It's one of my like I think it's such a cool dual thing that they do. So I'd like to talk about both of those, and I think you'll really like the stuff from Reimagined because you really love that like uh, acoustic stuff coming from like hardcore bands.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
and
I know. I've
because
tried before.
right, and just because you and I disagree. Well, not disagree, but we don't really
We
feel the
have
same about
differing
this album.
opinions on Jamie's Elsewhere.
Exactly. So I'd really be curious to see what you have to say about it.
Okay. Okay. Jamie's
Sweet.
Elsewhere it is then.
They said a storm was coming. Jamie's elsewhere.
Slash
Listen to it for
reimagined.
next week. Yeah. All right. In that case, thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us while we still figure out a format. I think we finally got something that's gonna work for a while.
I think so. I like how
So,
you know. Plus, if we need to do like, it doesn't use up too many topics in one. We're talking about like 6 different albums.
what do you mean? I think our conversation about the entire Rise Against discography, plus the new Green Day album, plus the new Blink 182 album, was super smooth and very
Oh
thorough.
God.
I know. We laugh about it, and it was only 2 weeks ago. What's it gonna be like when we go back and watch like these episodes? Like, let's just pretend like a year from now we look back, we're gonna be like, man, this was awful.
Yeah. Let's pretend like we're gonna do this for a year.
Yeah. Hey, well, I don't know. I'm amazed we've done it for. This is a month, dude.
Is it? You're right. It is 4 weeks a month.
I know. We're so committed.
Maybe I'm gonna give this up for Lent.
God damn it.
All right.
All right.
We've dicked around long enough.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.